Electromagnetic theory. It is online class number 2. In this class we discuss electric field. Last class we have studied the Coulomb's law, and Coulomb's law is given by the force between two charges Q and Q is given by F is equal to, in free space, 1 by 4 pi epsilon Q into Q divided by R square. Q is the first charge, small q is the second charge. It can also be written like this. Okay. And now we have to understand the variation of force with the inversely proportional to square of the distance. In order to understand this, we have to discuss electric lines of force. Before going to that, see this plus q is the charge placed at point O. Right? The presence of this charge create a field, create an influential area around this point. If any charge comes within this vicinity, then that charge, say another charge q is coming at this point, then what happens? This charge will repel if these both are positive, or any other charge coming in this region will experience a force from the charge plus q, and this region in which the influence of this charge or the effect of this charge is felt by another charge is known as electric field. So electric field is the region around a point charge where the influence of that charge is felt by the other charge. Other charges either get attracted if it is opposite charge, or it gets repelled if it is the same charge. So if P is a point at a distance r from point O, then the force acting at this point P is inversely proportional to square of the distance. If you move this second charge instead of P, if you are going away, the force reduces. And if you are coming towards the plus Q charge, towards O, the force increases. So force varies 1 divided by R square. So in order to find, the strength of this charge or the force experienced by the second charge at different places are different. As R changes, the force is also going to change. For that reason, what we will do is we define the strength of this charge at any point P. Right? P is an arbitrary point. R is subjected to change. So what we will do is we define the strength of the electric charge as it is the force experienced by unit positive charge placed at that point in the electric field of the original charge. Okay? Plus Q charge is at point O. It develops an electric field around it. Now, if you bring plus 1 Coulomb charge, this is called a test charge. Test charge always will taken plus 1 Coulomb. And when you place plus 1 Coulomb at this point P, which is at a distance R, it experiences a force. And that force is called electric intensity, E. Right? So E is equal to, we write 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon Q into 1 Coulomb, because Q is equal to plus 1 Coulomb is the test charge, then divided by R square. So the force experienced by 1 Coulomb charge is equal to E, and this is also given by 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon Q into 1 divided by R square into R cap. So this is called electric intensity at this point, and electric intensity is used to find the strength of the electric charge placed at O. Now this force, now we can write if another charge q is placed at this point, then what we write is F is equal to, this is E into Q. So this is for 1 coulomb. If you place it Q coulomb, then F is equal to E into Q. Right? Our electric intensity can also be defined as force experienced by second charge divided by the magnitude of the second charge will give you E. Since force is a vector, E is also a vector. So E is always radially outward. It moves away because we have taken the plus Q charge as positive. So E is always outwards. If you place any 1 coulomb test charge, then E is always radially outward. For a point charge, we are going to see this. And we say it is infinite charge. Coulombian charge force is infinite in this thing, but practically after going long distance, the force experienced by the second charge is negligible. Okay. Now E and F both are decreasing with increasing R. Okay. In order to understand this, the concept, a beautiful concept called electric lines of force, is introduced. This is the idea by which we can understand how F depends on R, how F changes with R, or E changes with inversely square of the distance. Okay. This is electric lines of forces. It is an idea. It is a concept. It is useful to understand the variation of force with distance or electric intensity with the inversely with the square of the distance. We say electric lines of forces, we assign property for this concept, idea. Actually nothing is flowing, but this is an idea which is very useful to understand the variation of force or electric intensity with the square of the distance. Electric lines of forces are nothing but they are the direction of unit positive charge, the test charge placed in the electric field. They give the direction. So when you have plus Q at O, if it is a positive charge, and if you place any unit positive charge here, 1 coulomb, it moves this way. So these are the imaginary lines which represents in which a unit positive charge will move when it is placed in the electric field of the charge. So if it is a positive charge, these lines are going outward, they are diverging. Okay. And if it is a negative charge, you see what happens. If it is a negative charge, then what happens? If you place 1 coulomb charge, it gets attracted. If you place 1 coulomb charge here, it gets attracted. If you place 1 coulomb charge here, it gets attracted. So, electric lines of forces are converging on a negative charge. They are diverging from a positive charge and they are converging on a negative charge. If both are placed, you see what happens. Nearby, then the electric lines of forces are like this. They will never cross each other because there will be always electric field in the vicinity of the charge. So we assign some properties to electric lines of force. First, they are imaginary lines. They represent the direction in which a unit positive charge will move when it is placed in the electric field. They are diverging from a positive charge and they are converging on a negative charge. And if you draw a tangent to these imaginary lines, at any point you will get the direction of electric intensity at that point. So the tangent at any point on this curve will represent the direction of electric intensity. And the number of lines, if you see how it is useful. The number of lines per unit area in the electric field around a point gives electric intensity. Now I am linking electric lines of forces with electric intensity. See this. If you come to this, if I choose a point P here and I choose one unit area around this point, the number of lines of forces passing through this are more. For that reason, electric intensity is more. If you go to this and if you take 1 meter square area, 1 meter, this square area, and the number of lines of forces going this area is less. For that reason, electric intensity is less. Electric intensity is more near the point charge. Electric intensity reduces as you move away from the charge. This is very useful to understand the variation of E with the square of the distance. Right? As you go away from the charge, the lines of forces are going to reduce per unit area around a point. For that reason, electric intensity is less. And if you come close to the point charge, then the lines of forces per unit area is more. That means electric intensity is more. So this concept is very useful to understand the variation. These are the imaginary lines, but you can draw them by placing unit positive charge. In which direction it is moving, you draw straight line there. And along the direction you will get these lines, electric lines. You can physically represent them, but nothing is flowing. But this concept is very useful to understand the variation of V, square of the distance. And one more property, always they enter the surface along the normal and they leave the surface along the normal. If I place an area, a material or some material here, they always enter along the normal and they leave the surface along the normal to the surface. Then again they bend. Okay. So for that reason, sometimes the electric normal lines of forces they are called, because they enter the material along the normal to the surface and they also leave the material along the normal to the surface of the material. This is very useful to understand electric flux. 5. Electric flux 5 represents the number of lines of forces passing through that area. If we got a pointed positive charge here, these are the number of lines of forces, and we got some area here and the number of lines of forces passing through this area is called electric flux. Number of lines of forces, electric lines of forces passing through that area is called electric flux. Flux per unit area. If you take per unit area around a point, then that gives electric intensity. So electric intensity is nothing but flux divided by area. Right? Flux is a scalar quantity, but usually area is a scalar quantity, but here we take always normal area. We make it as a vector, for that reason E is a vector. Right? E is a d phi by dx. If flux is small flux for a small area, then change in flux divided by change in area, we take it as electric intensity. Flux is Weber per meter square is unit of electric intensity. Electric intensity is nothing but it is F is equal to E is equal to F by Q. F is Newton. This is Newton per Coulomb. Right? This is Weber per meter square. Both are same. You can call Newton per Coulomb or Weber per meter square. Some value, magnitude. This is the unit of electric flux. This idea is very useful to understand Gauss law. And this is very important, Gauss's law. And Gauss's law is based on his electric flux. Okay. Why we introduce Gauss law is what is the importance of Gauss law? Okay.